It looks like it's the cruise operators that are most exposed to the China markets. Which names are going to be hit the hardest because of coronavirus?
Well, of the three U.S. cruise companies, and that's Royal Caribbean, Carnival Cruise, and Norwegian, I think it's probably safe to say that Royal has the most exposure. It's about 6% of their capacity on an annualized basis. It's about 4% of their first quarter capacity. Also worth noting that in addition to that, they do have a decent number of Chinese passengers that leave China and get on a cruise in another location. So that would be additive to the extent that those potential passengers aren't able to leave China. I would tell you, though, that even within that's more easily quantifiable, I think, in the cruise space. But as I think about the online travel group, those are names that are also going to have significant exposure to this as well.
And staying with the cruise operators, James, RCL continues to be, despite the coronavirus, your favourite name amongst the cruise liners. So what then would have to change in terms of this rapidly evolving virus to make you reassess that view?
Well, generally, and really all we have is to look back at similar events, if there are such a thing, and see how the stock responded in the lead up and in the follow up to those major events. And typically, you see a sell off, and these stocks, 60 days later, 90 days later, certainly, months down the road, tend to bounce back quite strongly. And none of this, ultimately hurts our longer term bull thesis for Royal Caribbean. But this is certainly an issue that we're watching very closely. And at a minimum, it does jeopardize the guidance period. These guys are going to report earnings next week sometime. And I would have told you a week ago I felt pretty confident that they were going to put up good fourth quarter numbers. I still think that's in the cards. But that investors would be pleasantly surprised with how they guide 2020. I think
right.
With each passing day and with each passing cruise that gets canceled, Spectrum of the Seas is their ship in China right now. We
yes.
think that cuts into their 2020 earnings about 2 cents for every cruise that gets missed. That's material.